This is News You Can Use.
Recently, we hosted a meeting with Doug Duncan, Senior Vice President and Chief Economist for Fannie Mae, to discuss his latest housing forecast for 2022. Over the years, no economist has more accurately predicted what's coming next for our industry than Doug and his team. He shared a wealth of knowledge that we've been sharing with you in bite-sized pieces over the past few weeks. In today's final segment with Doug Duncan, I ask him a question that I ask him every time we've had him on our program over the last 5 years. Doug, all forecasting aside, if you were talking to your own children and they asked you this question, how would you respond? Doug, is it a good time to buy or sell a home?
Yeah, so I've been consistent on this for 30 years. The first thing is, do you have a family budget? And if you have a family budget at today's interest rates and house prices, that the payment you'd have to make to comfortably meet that obligation fits that budget, then it's a good time to buy or sell a house if you're selling and moving to a different house. If you're making a bet on where house prices are going to go or where interest rates are going to go, now you've moved from being a homeowner to being a speculator. And some people can afford to be speculators, but not everybody, and not the average household. So really, that's, to me, the household budget is the basic document for good financial management. It's a guide. It's not intended to be a tourniquet or some sort of a albatross. It's a guide to make sure you're thinking broadly about your financial position. And things change, so budgets adjust. But that's really the basics. And, we've seen interest rates peaked in 1979 at somewhere around 18% for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. So there is a piece of missing information in the market today, because over that entire time period, nominal interest rates were falling. And people always could give some thought to the idea that rates might fall further and they could refinance and take advantage of that. And they've done that for 50 years. But it's pretty hard to see now that the future path of rates is not somewhat higher. And so you want to be careful not to build in the expectation that you necessarily will have the refinance option to take you out somewhere down the road. I would also point out that, Pat, you're in this circumstance. You run a financial company. There's really no financial company in the U.S. today that has its senior executive leadership that has managed that company in a sustained rising interest rate environment. So we are likely to learn some things about financial management that maybe were known a number of years ago, but are not known today.
Yeah, we'll hope that doesn't happen in a radical way, because then you're going to get a phone call. Anyway. So there you have it. First, you need to have a household budget. Second, using that budget, determine if you can afford a property in today's dollars. If so, it's a great time to buy. You don't want to move into the role of speculator when it comes to buying a home. Today, Doug also added an exclamation point. More than ever, you cannot count on refinancing in the future, as interest rates just left their all-time lows. So you need to make sure that you can afford the home that you're buying in today's dollars. This is News You Can Use.